5, 4. What's up, everybody? And listen, have you ever thought that, let's be real here, if you were ever incarcerated or you're a first-time offender, you know that stupid thing they have on job applications where it's like, have you ever been convicted of a criminal offense? It's bullshit. We all know that. Things happen. I'm going to be talking today with an awesome man. I love this guy, Raheem Crawford, and we're going to talk about how he's changing the face of that nonsense that limits people in this world. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. America will continue the dream.
All right, everybody. I am here with the man, Raheem Crawford. How are you?
How you doing, Eric? Yep. Good. Good morning. Top of the day.
So, I know you're out in Philly too, right? So it's not just New Jersey and Philly.
Yes. Well,
not just New Jersey, but it's both.
Also Jersey and Philadelphia.
Jersey and Philadelphia. Okay, so let's start from the top. Let's tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, Raheem Crawford, founder of Victims Impact Services Incorporated.
Okay.
Yes.
And you started that why?
I started that because I seen a need, right, for rehabilitation, services that actually work.
Right.
So, being a formerly incarcerated person myself, right? I took a lot of programs.
Yeah.
And some programs and stuff, I seen, effective tools, and some stuff not so much. So I sit back and say, what would I say to me, or what would help me, being, changing my thoughts, my beliefs and concepts. Right. So, through taking so many, programs, I found, it was introduced where empathy and, and seeing, when you commit a crime, right, what's the full ripple effect? What's the full ramifications, of the crime? Instead of just telling a kid, don't do this, right?
Yeah.
They always want to, don't do this, but don't tell them the why. So what we sit back and say, well, it's hard to do something if you don't know the why. So what we do is we present the why, okay. And it all makes sense. It's just that it's just telling somebody, don't do that. So
I guess the biggest question for me really is like, from my own experience in the court systems, in the system, it's, we're going to give you a chance to fix your shit.
Right.
Just don't ever do this again. But then they never give people the resources to fix it. They just say, here's your probation officer, go check in and stay out of trouble. Right. And so so is that where you come in? You start to work with people to fix the issues? Issues?
Yeah. See, criminality is a mindset, right. And it's just, a probation officer, a judge, of course, is just all part of the game. So when we talk about, real rehabilitation, we have to cut the games out, Right. So, and sometimes it take, somebody, that's like you to change your mindset. Sure. Versus somebody that may not be like you, may not, understand the way you think. Yeah. Understand that, how you view, the system, that you view life. So when you can talk to this person's spirit, and they could sit back and identify that this is a guy that's just like me, but he figured some things out. Right. Let me listen, So the proof is in the pudding, it's in the results. So if you was in the criminal world, you wouldn't listen to somebody doing worse than you. You would listen to somebody that's doing better than you, right? So and it's the same thing, from a moral and and just like a spiritual process. Like you meet a guy, you see him, and and he's beaten down, right? Right. He look a certain way. You can see, that he's beaten, You know, so what you do is you talk to that person to meet them where they at. Yeah.
Yes. So does that really, like, I mean, okay, so before I jump into some of the amazing stuff you do, let's talk about that mindset real quick.
Yes.
Because there are some people that are just, they've drank the Kool-Aid. Yes. There's only one road. I'm going to make it rich by doing this dumb shit.
Yes.
And I'm going to risk everything. Do you run into that? And then when you do, you know, do you have a line that's drawn? I mean, because obviously there's people who want to change.
Yes.
So what do you do with that?
Yeah, like most of the people that I meet, you know, I meet them because they were sent to me. You know, either referred to me from the court system, referred to me from a family member, you know, and they, you know, come in, and once I, you know, go and I do my one-on-ones or orientations and stuff, you know, and I, you know, just give them, you know, my background, right, and not just my background, but understanding where they at. You know, and sometimes when you can read them processes, you get people immediate attention to be able to understand what that process is. And I also understand that it was a condition, you know, so they was conditioned to be the way they are.
Right.
You know, and certain things is just circumstances that, you know, some kids is just born in a good environment, right? But don't make them a good kid.
Yeah.
Some kids that was born in a bad environment don't make them a bad kid.
It's true.
But, you know, it's just the conditions and stuff that you know, it's how we process things, you know, and some people process things better than others from from their experiences, what they seeing, you know, and I call it like, you know, like clearing the lenses up. So if my lenses is bad, then you know, I'm gonna go through life, you know, not seeing everything, you know, in this true essence, you know, or what it's meant for me to, you know, for me to see.
Right.
You know, so, but if I could sit back and get a better lens, then, you know, I see life in a more clear manner, you know, so I get guys and stuff that, you know, can't see their way out of their situations, right, and don't have the resources and sometimes to help, or at least somebody that can understand how they got there and where they at, you know,
right.
So.
Well, you just said resources, right? So I think that was one of the biggest things that queued us up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because we were looking at, you know, our brand works in the business development space and the entrepreneurial space, and even our not-for-profit right now is starting to look into workforce development. Yes. And then we saw that synergy because, you know, there's a lot of people that they have phenomenal minds. They use those phenomenal minds for dumb stuff.
Correct.
And then you reposition them because they don't know those resources, right? That's what's out there. You reposition them to take that amazing intellect that they have and those ideas, and you give them a resource into the entrepreneurial space, into the workforce development, into the business space, right? Because you've had some successful people, you know, come out of the system.
Yes, very.
And do some, I think we were talking one day, you said somebody's like made a contract like $1 million.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So how many guys are in jail right now going, oh, damn, like I can make $1 million doing this shit legit?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, so I had a friend of mine, you know, he had a real lucrative pest control company. And he did more than half. He got locked up, he's maybe 21, 22 years old, but he did about 21, 22 years, right? So he had spent like half of his time in prison. So I remember him talking to another associate of mine. He said, if I would have known that I could make this much money killing bugs, I would have never robbed a bank. Right? So, and it's just, stories and stuff like that, because, like, I'm proud that he never went, like he's so uncriminal. He just made some bad choices. Right. So now that he's, been home almost a decade now, with not even, so much as a parking ticket, right?
Right.
And when you meet somebody that, that you see that, that has a good heart, good spirit, and then you start to see them get freedom and start to live their good heart and good spirit, and they get the results, because I believe that, like right now, he is a millionaire, right? Off of a pest control company.
Off of killing bugs.
Off of killing bugs. He said, I don't kill thugs, I kill bugs.
Right. But imagine that, like, you know, again, you know, it's funny because, you know, you watch all these movies or you see all this, you know, Hollywood glorifies shit, right? You have TV shows that glorify the criminal element and people make them bank. And we're in a society today, especially today,
yes,
where social media is educating our children.
Yes.
Television is educating our children.
Yes.
Which is horrible. I just was having this conversation with our content coordinator, Hayes. We were talking about how we have a whole generation here that doesn't understand context. They have no social skills. You know, so, you know, if we're talking about a generation, let's say even one generation ago, millennials,
yes,
were educated in part by the internet and television. This next generation, holy shit. So if you have people who see this glorification and think, oh, I'm going to make bad money,
yes,
doing this bad shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I call this generation the smartest dumb generation at the same time, right? Because it's a generation that has so much access to information that we never had access to.
Oh, yeah.
But we got something that's called internal processes. How do I process all this information, right? And then process it in a way that's you know, that's good for, you know, for my spirit, that's good for, you know, for my moral compass, right?
Right.
Because we, like you said, if everybody is getting on these devices and they all, you know, presenting the best of their life but hiding the worst of it, right?
Right.
It's not really like a fair comparison of what's really going on, but it can give the illusion that other people are doing so much better than you, where if you don't, you know, live up to these standards, then somehow you're inadequate, or you're not, you know, or you're not blessed in a way that other people are blessed, you know, because they're not, you know, like hiding or not, you know, coming over there, you know, telling you about their failures. They're just telling you about their wins, you know. So when you get, you know, a more balanced approach, or somebody that could be able to navigate what you're seeing, right, as an advisor. Okay, I'm seeing this, I'm experiencing this, you know, and I think that, you know, most of the, you know, like kids in their social groups, right, are only smarter than each other. So if they're not branching out outside of the groups that they're in, they could all, you know, just one sick group, you know, or one misguided or directed group.
But so I mean, does that mean you have an uphill battle, basically? Everybody who's in your space.
Yes.
You have an uphill battle.
Everybody. Every parent, right, that's trying to, like, you know, teach or guide their children. But if you let your children be exposed to, you know, to areas which you haven't, you know, begin to think that they're exploring, then you only guiding them as far as what you can see, but not the stuff that you don't see. You know, so sometimes like social media, you know, put us in pretty much everybody's business, when before we had to have some type of relationship to be privy to certain information. But now it's like, you know, stuff is being, you know, uncovered in a way where we don't know, we got truth mixed in with lies. And if you don't have somebody that, you know, that you trust, that could sit back, you know, and decipher this stuff, you know, for you as a child, then it's like, you know what, you just draw your own conclusions.
Right.
And not all, you know, all the time, you know, is those conclusions that you may draw is accurate, is sound, and is, you know, conducive to your personal growth.
Sure.
So that's why we see more heinous crimes like we see now, because it's like the mind couldn't conceive this, but since it's been exposed to it, it don't know how to handle this. Like you know, where some kids and stuff that may not get attention from the parents. Yeah. But what happens is that they see that even negative attention is attention, you know. So, but our negativity when we were young went but so far. But now we start to be exposed to negative stuff that's, you know, that's beyond even our own imaginations.
Right.
But it becomes part of, like, you know, you can't take back something you've seen. This ain't like when they tell a jury to strike that, right?
Yeah,
like
you can't do
you know,
that.
like you can't, you know, take back what you've seen.
But you're not, your organization, unfortunately, it's not hitting that childhood root.
Nah.
You're dealing with people who have already gone through bad neighborhoods, bad experiences, bad parenting, whatever it is.
Yes.
And they've gotten into the system in one way or another.
Yes.
So they're coming to you, and I know you've worked with the courts, right, and judges and organizations who at that level, because that's another myth, right? So we have to deal with that myth that the court system doesn't necessarily care. Right, it does care. There's groups of judges out there and prosecutors, everybody that do care.
Yes, it is.
Right, but their hands are tied.
Correct.
Because they have the law.
Yeah.
And then you come along, and you say, "I can do this. I can teach them to learn how to work or get a skill, or I can teach them to be entrepreneurs." And that's how you do it, right? So how did
One of the main things that a judge has the responsibility to do is called public safety. So if they get a person. Yeah, they're responsible for, like making sure that you serve, your punishment and get rehabilitation. But public safety is number one. So what happens is that just because you're a judge don't mean that you know how to fix people. Just because you're a judge, but you have resources, and they only can rely on their strongest resources to be able to, you trust that when you send a person to prison, that that the prison, would have different, mechanisms and stuff to be able to help them with whatever, crime that they committed. So, but not, prisons is overwhelmed, overpopulated, and it's not like a job that everybody is trying to, go and deal with, prisons. Most, people that graduate, college or maybe psychologists, might, counselors, or just might be decent people. They're not trying to go rush and go work into a prison, an unsafe environment. Prisons had over the years built bad stigmas and stuff of what can happen. So they get, who's available, right? And not that, take nothing from the people that work, but after a while, when you start to see people, not getting it, it could become frustrating, right?
Right, but you take it from a different approach, right? I mean, good hearts go in and do good work, right? But when it becomes overwhelming, it sort of takes from their spirit.
Right.
So, but your approach is getting them either before they go into prison or when they immediately come out, right? Is that the whole, that's where you come in?
See, I got a thing where I do character reconstruction, right? Because in character reconstruction is simply that most guys that go for jobs already have a self-defeated attitude, like they're not going to hire me because what the employer don't know until the employer do know what's going on, right? So what we do is
that little checkbox. Do you have a criminal record?
Checkbox.
Ridiculous.
So when the higher the job is, the less confident that a person that's coming out of prison will feel like they can acquire those type of jobs, right? So what we do is that we give them a soft approach, mock job interviews of how to explain your background to an employer, but just not with going to not everybody that's coming home is job ready. Right. Like what I say is that let's do some things that contrast the person you are to the person that you are now. Right. So when if it's not that you were sentenced to community service work, but let's do some community service work. Because now we have to build a resume up for your character now. So I feed the the homeless, I feed veterans, disabled people, and I shout out to Caring for Friends. Caring for Friends, I've been working with them 4 years now, and I go up every Wednesday and every Saturday, and I pick up loads and loads of produce, vegetables, sandwiches, drinks. And I take frozen meal boxes to people's houses. So I'm not involved. My guys that's interested or that's at that level to go out and do this this work for free. Giving just letting them know about giving back. Sending them to to speaking engagements, to go talk to people that want to hear their stories.
Right.
So all of this is becoming part of that giving back process, which ultimately, like when you go to an employer and you have maybe your record that come back,
right,
but you have a lot of letters of recommendation, and support system.
You can leverage your good nature despite your mistake. Like it's as opposed to, again, it's like, were you ever convicted of a crime? And you hit that checkbox.
Yes.
And immediately then that gives them the right to run the background check.
Yes.
And then they don't care that you're a good church-going person, or they don't care that you feed the homeless. Like they don't. Like a lot of corporations just do not.
Right.
And I think maybe that's changing now since I was young.
Right.
I don't know how much, but I know you're doing the work to teach people how to like you said, explain their backgrounds. You're building their resumes, building their recommendations to put forth the positive instead of getting sucked into the mistake or the negative that happened. But you're also giving them skills, right? So you work with your wife, LaShawn, and her organization, Staying the Course and Girl with the Grill, and they have a whole education program in safe foods or something like that, right? To become certified to serve safe.
Yep, serve safe.
And you also work with
a lot of different contractors. So we offer the OSHA 30 safe service where our organization pays for them. One of the things is that certifications. Not everybody is college material, right? So you have to face that, and not everybody can afford college. But certifications is relatively cheap and quick, right? But they do is they give you a competitive advantage, because now if you're in construction, you're required to have OSHA 30s. If you're in a food service business, you're required to have serve safes, certifications, and restaurants can't function without them.
Right.
Neither can construction sites. So that's one of the advantages of getting certain certifications. And the requirements and stuff is a lot lower, and not everybody got attention span nor the resources to spend 8 months, 9 months, a year, in there. So these is like quick certifications that could lead to automatic employment. Because if you're an employer, you may want the best people, but not all the time the best people have the certifications. So it's a way to enter the market, the workplace. And even like entrepreneurship, and you spoke about entrepreneurship, some people is that have resources that is not interested in going to go and work for somebody, but they don't know how to get an LLC,
right?
They don't know
And do you walk them through things like that?
Yes, we have.
So we're kind of coming down to the end of the thing, so I want to just really, to the end of the interview, I want to just sort of wrap around to, the hope you give and what you offer. We just talked about Serve Safe and OSHA, and now you're talking about helping people start businesses.
Yes.
So you're very much Victims Impact Services Incorporated, right?
Yes.
Pretty much will help work with. Can somebody, is it always the court, or can somebody who, let's say they're on probation, they hear about you, can they find you and come to you and say, hey, can you help me?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
So it's not just serving through the court. It's somebody that's sitting here.
Believe it or not, the churches send us a lot of people, because they would be like one of the first people that may have a relative or something like that that's just struggling, right?
Sure.
He might just be struggling with in life. It may be people fall on hard times,
right?
So we have two components where we do an assessment. So when I get a guy to come in and I have assessment, I'm doing an assessment. Not everybody that uses our services is criminals,
Right.
I have quite a few guys that don't have no background, but they just at the same time if just because that you a criminal, every criminal don't get caught, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So some family members may see something and somebody that's engaged in something, and sit back and say, listen, in order for you to stay in this house, right, you're going to have to do better.
Okay.
And I found a service for you that I want you to go to that could help you
elevate.
out of those circumstances.
Right. All right. So Victims Impact Services Incorporated. You have a website for that?
Yes. Believe it or not, my website, the person that was managing my website moved out the country. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find somebody that as we speak, that can manage. But it's just so many people, and I've been burnt on websites over and over again, right? Yeah. So I'm just finding somebody that that's credible. And the guy that built my website, good guy. Just that he just no longer live in the United States no more.
So where can somebody get in touch with you if they want to a phone number or anything?
Yeah, our phone number is 215. Excuse me, I got the best number to reach us at is 267-809-7125.
Okay, we'll throw it up on the screen.
Yes, and and we got like our website was just Victims Impact. I believe it was Victims Impact.com.
All right, we'll look it up too. We'll get it on the screen.
I'll forward it. I'll forward it to you.
So this is Raheem Crawford out of Philadelphia, out of New Jersey. He's covering that territory. But listen, if you want to contact him, it doesn't matter where in the country you are. I mean, he can't serve a guy in California, but at least he could talk to you, right? So, but don't if you're an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, and or if you want to get skills-based training, and in that nature, and you want to get out of that rut, out of that situation you are. If you're formerly incarcerated, or maybe you're sitting in and you're going to get released next week. You know what I mean? And you could see this. This is an opportunity for you to level your game up and not get dragged back into that circle and that idea of like, this is my only option. And yeah, maybe you don't want to, you don't want to work in the, your only job isn't fucking sanitation. All right, you have so many opportunities, and Raheem over here can help you work through those opportunities. So check them out. We'll have the website and the phone number in the description below. Raheem, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're definitely gonna get this up, and we'll see more of you, and you'll see more of him at our events.
Yes.
So all right, my man.
All right.
So you guys go out there and you make something happen. And my favorite terms are go out there and make shit happen. So you have a great one.
All right.
And we're out.
This episode is brought to you by the National Center for Local Business and Workforce Development, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization dedicated to empowering small businesses and their communities. From launching your dream to scaling new heights, the National provides no-cost and low-cost guidance to help you succeed. The National complements existing resources, bridges gaps, and can offer support every step of the way. In addition to supporting entrepreneurs, the National is committed to building a skilled and thriving workforce. They help individuals explore career paths, enhance their skills, and connect with local job opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur seeking growth, a business owner searching for talented team members, or an individual striving for career advancement, the National Center for Local Business and Workforce Development is your partner in achieving success. Visit them at mynational.org for more information and to be notified of new programs.